Today is 5th July 2020. My name is Gilbert Nemaza. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I'm conducting this interview as part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in the interview video I'm working on for Contribute to Society project. The interview will be used to create a street interview video and submit it to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online information system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes, I, Prince, give my informed consent to participate in this interview, to be recorded and used as a part of student work.
Today is 5th July 2020. My name is Gilbert Nemaza. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I'm conducting this interview as part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in this interview video I'm working on for Contribute to the Society project. The interview will be used to create a street interview video and submit it to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes, I, Bruce, give my informed consent to participate in this interview, to be recorded and used as part of the student work.
Thank you, Bruce. I would like to go on with the first question.
Thank you, too.
What are the three branches of the government?
The first branch is executive, the second one is legislative and judicial.
Good.
Uh,
Normally, there are three branches of the government, such legislative, judicial, and executive. So here is what each branch does. Legislative is there to set laws, declare wars, regulate interstate and foreign currency, control taxing and spending policies, and it's important to note that the Senate must ratify treaties. The executive branch, that is composed of the president, his or her advisors, and various departments as well as agencies. The branch is responsible for enforcing the laws of the land. The president can also nominate federal judges, as he can also sign budget like other laws. Now the third party, which is the third branch, which is judicial, interprets and applies laws. It is again very crucial to note that judicial can find the laws unconstitutional. What does each branch do?
Judicial, it apply laws.
What about others?
Don't remember.
You might wonder how the branches are connected. Frankly speaking, the connectivity lies in the roles they play. Like I have already said, that legislative is there to set laws, executive is there to approve them, and judicial is there to apply and interpret them. That's how they are connected. They work together to ensure the American citizens' rights are enforced, are respected, as well as each citizen puts into consideration his responsibilities. Again, you might wonder how they regulate each other in terms of checks and balances. Normally, these three branches have the ways they regulate each other to ensure none of them has too much power to other branches. The way they do it, like judicial branch has its way to regulate executive and legislative in terms of balance and checks, to mean they check their power and make sure they are balanced with the other remaining branch. Likewise, executive does the same to judicial and legislative. So the branches have power upon the other remaining to make sure none is overriding. Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name the third party?
Yeah, minor political parties.
Talking about the two-party system in the United States of America, it's necessary to go back when the nation was free from British rule. This is by the time the states wanted to really build unity among themselves to work together as a nation instead of being different states. So there were two parties, one against for this idea, another one for this idea. Um, the Federalists was the part which was supporting the constitution of federal government in the United States, and there was anti-federalists who were against the federal government. Just to say, anti-federalists wanted that each state would have its own local government instead of having federal government. This was because they were afraid of losing local power. Just they wanted to stay having power in their local states, and they saw the idea of federal government as diminishing their power. So this anti-federalist later became a Jefferson Republican Party, and they kept on changing to Democratic Republican until they finally became Democrats. So here it is clear that the two-party system, which is composed of the Republicans and Democrats, those the one who were Federalists were the one who became Republican. Then there's one who were Democratic, who were anti-federalists, are the ones who are currently Democratic. So these Democratic were just defeated because they were not supported in much states, because they were much based in Massachusetts, New York, and Virginia, while Federalists were supported by rest of many other states. So this system kept on in the elections, as you can see in the presidential election and other governmental positions. Basing much on the presidential elections, it has been there for so many years, seeing two parties dominating elections. Such parties are Democrats and Republicans. They oftentimes dominate other parties in elections. This is happening thanks to the system known as winner takes all, which applied for so many years. This is a system where a presidential candidate from a certain state, let's say New York, wins the other candidates from the state. If the winner from that state will take all other votes that could be for other defeated candidates, then all the votes will be counted on that winning candidate from that state. So doing this made it possible for only two parties winning for all the time. Despite these two parties, Democrats and Republicans, dominating other parties which are taking most of the places in the presidential positions and other government posts, the third parties also have their role they play. This is in influencing, pressing the dominating powers in terms of making sure the citizens are enjoying their right. They do this, the people in the third parties are there to observe what the main political parties are doing, reaching out to citizens to ask them some questions they might have regarding their rights and responsibilities. So if this party finds something that the main political parties are not doing well, They reach out to them, they discuss, and they propose new ways to perform and function.
3.
Yeah, Prince, what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Don't know.
Normally, there are 9 processes or steps by which a bill passes through to become a law. The first one is the bill is drafted. To have a law, the bill has to be drafted by a Senate or a House representative. These are members of the legislative or simply Congress. So if one of the Congress or the legislative branch drafts a law, a bill, it starts being introduced. It is just going to pass through processes until it becomes a law. So the one who is drafting the law is called a sponsor. Now it comes to the second step, which is the bill is introduced. Once the bill is drafted, it must be introduced. If a representative is the sponsor, the bill is introduced in the House, and then if the sponsor is a Senate, the bill will be introduced in the Senate. Once a bill is introduced, it can be found in the Congress Gov. This is an official website where federal laws are registered. Now it comes to the third step or process, that is the bill goes to the committee. As soon as a bill is introduced, it is referred to a committee. Both the House and Senate have various committees composed of groups of Congress members who are particularly interested in different topics such as health, international affairs, and so on. Let's say a bill which is drafted is about education. Members of the Congress who are interested in education setting will have their own committee. So this bill will be taken in such committee to be debated. When we say a bill is being debated, it's just being examined. People are there to deal with it, seeing whether it can be supported, seeing whether they can approve it or disapprove it. So being on this step, a bill has chances of being approved or just dying. When the committee finds this draft not working, they disapprove it or reject it, then it dies. If it is approved, it passes to the fourth step, that is subcommittee review of the bill. Subcommittees are organized under committees and have further specialization on a certain topic. Often committees refer bill to a subcommittee for study and their own hearings. The subcommittee may take changes to the bill and must vote to refer a bill back to the full committee. Here then, the bill comes to the fifth step, that is committee markup of the bill. Here, when the hearings and committee review are completed, the committee will meet to mark up the bill. They make changes and amendments prior to recommending the bill to the floor. If a committee votes not to report registration to the full chamber of Congress, the bill dies. If the committee votes in favor of the bill, it is reported to the floor. The procedure is called ordering a bill reported. Now here comes the sixth step, which is voting by the full chamber on the bill. Once the bill reaches the floor, there is additional debate and members of the full chamber vote to approve any amendments. This is to say, if the bill was drafted by a member of the House representative, the entire representatives will meet to discuss and debate the bill. If it is drafted by a senator, the same will happen in the Senate chamber. Then if it is approved, it reaches the seventh level, which is referral of the bill to the other chamber. In this process, the House or Senate passes a bill, it is referred to the other chamber, where it usually follows the same route through committees and finally to the floor. This chamber may approve the bill as received, reject it, ignore it, or change it. Congress may form a conference committee to reconcile the difference between the House and Senate versions of a bill. This is to say, if the bill was originated by a member from representative house, they will have a meeting with the senators to discuss the law, the bill which has to be approved or disapproved. In doing this, let's say the bill was from representative, the Senate will have to make their own changes and adjustment. So they will meet together to see how they can reconcile and have an agreement on the draft. Once they approve it, they make conference report that can be which reaches the eighth step, which is the bill goes to the president. After both the House and the Senate have approved a bill in the identical form, the bill is sent to the president. The president have 10 days to approve the law. If the law passes 10 days without being approved, it becomes a veto, to mean the president has not approved it. In addition, if no action is taken for 10 days and the Congress has already adjourned, there is a pocket veto. Now it reaches the last step, which is overriding a veto. On the eighth step, when the president approves the law, it immediately starts functioning, being followed by all citizens. Now on the ninth step, if he doesn't, Congress may attempt to override the veto. If both the Senate and the House pass the bill by a 2/3 majority, the president's veto is overruled and the bill becomes a law. So, hoping you learned a lot, you learned the branches of the government, you learned how they regulate each other, you learned their functions, you learned the two-party system and how it started, and now you've